Hello. Today I wanted to go over the new Airtable Automations built-in functionality and how you can use it with Integromat and Zapier to do better with your workflows and to save time and energy. But first of all, I thought we'd look at the problems which exist with Zapier and Integromat at the moment. There's many threads all over the internet about the problems that there is no trigger for an updated record. If we look at Zapier in particular, you have the new record in view and the new record. New record in view works well if you've got something that's only going to go in that view once. But if you have more of a relational database that has records that go in and out of the view multiple times and you want it to trigger, it won't work like that because the Zapier integration will only work on the first time and that's it. So it's pretty flawed for what you need it to do. And if we were to look at Integromat, we go here. They only have this watch records. You see that it requires you to create two fields, a created time and a lost modified time field, and it also doesn't trigger instantly. If you want to do this, you have to run it at certain intervals, which means that you're not getting an instant trigger, which you could have if you had a webhook. So having a webhook would be the best way possible, and this is something that you can do with the Airtable Automations built-in integration. So let's have a look at that now. Here's one that I built to go on the database that I have for some indoor rowing training that I did. Pretty much what I'm doing is if a record gets updated which has the strokes per minute, if it has it 22 or more, it goes into high intensity. If it's less than 23, it goes into low intensity. So here is that table. Here is this intensity field, and you'll see here, if I go in here and just update this and put 22, it will do that automation. It will send it to that webhook and it will update here. And because we've got 22, it will stay steady state. So you see that's just updated here. If you don't know much about the Airtable Automations, you need to be on one of their paid plans, and you'll see that they have this automations button here. You want to click that and you can create automations pretty much. You see here that you can add the trigger, so when it matches a condition, when it enters a view, when it's created or when it's updated. So this is a lot more flexible than what the Zapier or Integromat are offering. There's a lot more choices. And in their documentation they say that it will work every single time that something is updated. So that's pretty cool. Here is the one that I built, the add intensity to rows. You can see that it's on here. What I'm doing is when a record is updated, so I'm using the SPM column here, when one of these is updated, it's going to run a script. What the script does is it will send the data to a webhook which we have set up, which is the webhook here, the Integromat webhook, which triggers instantly. So you want to see how that looks. We have it like this. It's a very simple script. That is literally it. The code here. The let URL, we have the URL, we have the config, and we await it, and we add the data, the SPM, whatever. What you need to make sure of when you are using this is that you add the variables. So you see here we have the variables. We have SPM and record ID. Record ID is here. SPM is here. You see we have the config.spm and the config.recordID. So this is actually pulling the data from the database and it's sending it along with the webhook. You could add more stuff here by simply adding more of these and SPM, pretty much more of this, and you could add as many columns as you like if you want to send a ton of data through. But this is the simplest way to do it. Once you've done this, you turn it on and it will run. And you'll see here that you can see the runs which have been successful. and then I'm going now, and I'll just put 20 here, and then just to show that it will update every time, here's one which I've already got, which is 22, which says steady state. If I change this to 24, it should say high intensity. It looks like there is a slight delay in the process actually happening, but it seems to happen within 30 seconds usually. So you see there, it's high intensity, it's done. And then we change it back, and it should change back to steady state now. You can see it here in the runs. So this is just a log of everything that's happening. There are a few conditions on the automations. You see here you have the runtime, you have the CPU time, and you have the memory. But for most uses, you're not going to hit these at all. So that's pretty much it. I will put the script template in the description of the video, and that's it. So that is how you can get a webhook. You could either use Integromat to feed that in, or you could use Zapier, a webhook as well, and it would start the process and it would be instant, and it couldn't get any more easier than that. So yeah, this is a big breakthrough and something that will really help, and I can't wait to use it more in my own business and to make things better. So yeah, cool.